Hi, it's Teresa with Different Ministries. We have another session of Real Talk, and today we have a special guest, Syrena Larra. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. I'm Syrena. I have a 2-year-old daughter. Some of you may not know, but when I had her, I was actually 18 years old. So I want to talk more about that and let people know my story and what all I went through and how God showed His love on me and reassured me everything was going to be okay.
Okay, so let's start off with when you found out you were pregnant.
Well, when I found out I was pregnant, I was straight out of high school, probably about a month or two after graduation. The first thing that covered my mind was doubt. Instantly, I wanted to go to college. I was supposed to room with my twin sister. I just started negative thoughts like my life is over. I'm not going to be able to go to college. I want to be a nurse. I can't be a nurse anymore. I can't do anything. My life is over. And that was just what I thought.
So how did you overcome all those doubts that you were, telling yourself or you were hearing?
I have a twin sister who I know she helped a lot. I wouldn't have been able to do anything without her. She really changed my mindset, and she told me everything was going to be okay. I can still go to school. I can still go to college. I can still do what I want to do. It's going to be harder, we're going to love that baby with everything inside of us. And I also started praying. I read my Bible a lot more because I knew I needed something bigger than me to get me through this. And that's when I came across the video. I was laying in bed on Twitter, always crying, like, God, how am I going to do this? I can't be a mom. I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't even know how many months you're supposed to be pregnant for. I remember like 6 months, and they're like, no, it's 9. And I was like, I don't even know how long you're supposed to be pregnant for, and you want me to be a mom? Like, how is it possible? And through that, God showed me a video at night, and it really changed my whole mindset. And in the lyric, it said, before the sun is up, you need me, or ready or not, you need me. And I was like that little baby, boy or girl, I didn't know at that time, she's gonna need me. And the video was just so pure, and I saw the love of a mother, and it changed my whole mindset. God knew what I needed at that moment.
The thing that, I like when I'm hearing your story is most people isolate themselves when something bad happens or they make a bad choice. And that's, what the enemy wants is for us to isolate ourselves and not be able to come out of this hole that we feel like we're in. And I think it's so important that you have a support system, someone that you can go to and be honest with, that's going to hear you and not just tell you, everything that you want to hear, but give you hope, but also know that they're going to be there with you through the journey. And then the other thing that I really like that you mentioned that you did was, turning to God. Because before this, you had a relationship with Christ. It wasn't just in this crisis moment that you turned to Him. You already had that. So is there anything you want to share during the pregnancy or after? Did the struggles continue, or did everything just get better?
It got harder, especially when I had her very nervous. Going to college, starting college with the baby, and then getting into nursing school is not easy at all. Having to wake up extra early towards your other friends, just to drop her off at daycare, or you study so much in nursing school for tests, and you're studying, and she's, Mommy, come play with me. Mommy, come play with me. And it breaks your heart because you're like, I wish I could, but, Mommy has to do this. And it's all going to be worth it. And, God has a plan for me, and I'm blessed that I can still continue to pursue my dreams. But through this last semester was very hard, and I really, my relationship with God really just formed this semester. It's been the strongest it's ever been.
So during those hard times, God speaks to us all the time. We just have to be willing to hear and listen. Is there any other times that you really felt God speaking to you?
So I took a class this semester. It was very hard. To not think I was going to pass. After my first exam, I did horrible on it. I laid on my living room floor, and I was like, God, you have me here for a reason. If you want me to be a nurse, you're going to make it happen. And of course it takes effort from me but I was just praying to him, like, God, I know this is what you want me to do. And through that, you sent me a song by Tasha Cobb that it says, I'm getting ready. And I played that song every day before I had a test, played it. And it just talks about the blessings he had for me. And every time I played that song, I just cried. Like, I'm like, God, I know you have blessings for me. I know you're going to get me through this. I believed with my whole heart I was going to pass that class. I knew he had it there, that plan for me. And so just relying on him, and you pray for every little thing you can. You pray, I would wake up just to spend 30 minutes with him before I started class. God, please wake me up before my alarm. You can pray for the smallest things and he will grant them. Like, he woke me up a minute before my alarm. Coincidence or not, I prayed for it and he will answer it. He's listening to everything you're saying.
Yes, all the little details
matter. Yes, everything matters.
And I mean, and just like on my end, like when I sent you that song, like I didn't know what you were going through. I didn't know the struggles you were having. I just know, like, you know, I was doing everyday life, and at that time when I sent you the song, I was actually just washing dishes, listening to it myself, and I was like, I need to send this to Syrena.
Yes, and I was actually studying for my next test that I failed when you sent that to me.
Wow.
So I stopped what I was doing, listened to it, and I'm like, that was him reassuring me.
Yes, and so it's so important, like, that all of us are just obedient when God asks us to do the little things, because it may be little to us, but on the other end, you don't know if it's something big for someone else.
Yes, and that song was big for me.
Yes. So something else I wanted to ask you is, did this journey that you've been on, did it affect any of your relationships, like friendships?
I would say my friendships have gotten a lot stronger because I was so nervous to tell my friends. I waited so long. They're going to judge me. And I know I shouldn't have thought that. They're my friends. They love me. But I have very close friends that I met in college. And Eliana, she's my best friend. She's like a sister. And just seeing them with Riley, like, they love her. That's her niece. You know, it's very heartwarming. And I'm very lucky to have them. So.
Have you been able to, in return, help someone else that was struggling, not maybe with the same situation, but struggling with something in their life? Like, has God been able to give you the courage to help someone else have the strength and the hope that you had?
Yes, I have two really close friends that I have, and one of them had just been telling me she was going through a hard time, and it was totally unexpected when she told me that. And so I just reassured her. I was able to share what I went through and how God has shown his love for me, and just told her, like, it's an effort too. It requires effort from you, and he wants a relationship with you. He's standing there, his arms wide open, come to me. And so I just told her I would keep praying for her, and he loves you. Everything, where he has you at, is for a reason. Everything is for a reason. So
I really admire, you know, some of the things that you've shared, but the thing that has stood out to me a lot is, like, you didn't just wait for God to make your situation better, and you didn't just want him to do all the work. Like, you made the decision to get up in the morning and spend time in reading your word and prayer, and thanking him for the things that, you know, he's brought you through. Is there any time through this journey that you're on that you have really felt God's presence?
Yes, big time. So before, I've already been through one semester of nursing school. I was nervous to start it. I kind of just went with the flow. But the second semester, I don't know what it was, but so nervous. I felt like I had never been in nursing school before. Like, I was so nervous and just praying to God, like, why am I so nervous? What's going on with me? And then literally 2 or 3 days before the semester started, I wake up to a text message from my brother Jacob, and it's a picture of me when I was little, dressed as a nurse or doctor. I had a little place stethoscope, and he said, you're gonna do great. We're so proud of you. God has your back, you know. And I just started crying. Like, God knew I needed that. He knew I was nervous. He knew how I felt. And probably the next day, I need to go get school supplies, so I drop Riley off with my sister-in-law, and I'm leaving, and then she comes back and says, hey, you forgot something I needed to give you. And I needed another pair of scrubs because we're going to clinical 2 days instead of one. And she gives me an envelope. I open it in the car, and it's $30 for a gift certificate to Stacy's. And I just literally bawled my eyes out. Like God didn't show me once, but twice. He's with me.
Yes.
I know what you need. I have your back. It's going to be okay. And I'm sitting there at Target in the parking lot. I can't get myself together. I'm just crying like, God, why are you being so good to me? Like, thank you. And this is what I want everyone to know, is if you make the effort, He's going to show you He's there. You just need just a little push, just even prayer. He hears everything you say, and He knows what you need. He knows how you're feeling, and He's going to be there for you.
Yeah. And how awesome is it that we can earn His goodness? Like,
it's an indescribable feeling.
Yes,
like, literally, I couldn't stop crying.
Yes, sometimes people can be conditional, and that's the thing with God. He's not a God of conditions. He's a God of love. And just like we love, our kids, like you love Riley, you'll do anything for her, that much more He'll do for you. And His love for you is even greater than that. So now let's fast forward. You have Riley.
Yes.
How has it been, the transition from being pregnant to now being a mom?
I love it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's so easy. It's the hardest thing ever. But I love her with all my heart. I literally can't imagine my life without her. I just want to tell people, if you can, wait, of course, because like me studying, I could just be studying, going to school, we're like, of course, worrying about school, but not having to worry about, I have to leave by 4:30 to pick up my daughter or do this, but now it is what it is, and you have to make the most of it, and so she's my life, my whole world. I love her.
Yes. Even out of any situation that we find ourselves in, God can always make the best of it. He uses our situation to make the best of it. And even in situations that we, sometimes weren't ready to happen, it could still turn out to be the biggest blessing.
Yes, and
so,
she sure is.
So what are some final words that you would have to just tell anyone that's out there watching this video?
One thing I wanted to touch on was how hard motherhood is, especially when you become a mom at a young age. Even though it makes everything so much harder, I wouldn't change it for the world, and I couldn't imagine life without my daughter. When I found out I was pregnant, I knew I had to face many people, and one person I was most nervous to tell was my dad. I know my dad was disappointed in me. I could see how much hurt he was feeling that I caused. I was the reason for him feeling that way, and that was one of the hardest things I had to deal with. And just as my earthly father felt that way, I know my heavenly Father felt the same. One thing I had to remind myself was there was nothing I could do to make them, both my heavenly and earthly Father, love me any less. One Bible verse that I kept as a constant reminder to myself was Proverbs 3:15. She is more precious than jewels, and nothing you desire can compare to her. I know God made me with a purpose and with so much love. He says I am more precious than jewels. Just because the action behind the way my daughter was made was a sin does not mean she is a sin. Psalm 127:3 says, "Children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from Him." I didn't plan for Riley to be born, but God sure did. He brought her into this world with a purpose far greater than what I could imagine, and I couldn't thank God enough for giving me my biggest blessing. I want those who are listening right now to know that God is there. He is listening. He cares about you. He knows just what you are feeling and just what you need at the exact moment. You could be going through something similar as me or something completely different, but if you feel like life has thrown you something you feel is far greater than what you can handle, turn to Him. I thought my life was over when I became pregnant. I felt like I no longer had a purpose. Little did I know how much my life would change for the better. My relationship with God has become the strongest it's ever been, and I have seen Him show His love and His presence to me more in the last 2 years than I have all of my life. All it takes is just a little action on your part, and I promise He will show up and show out. This is Syrena Larra with Different Ministries, and thank you for listening.